meeting to order. Okay, so first thing on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of August 24th. Okay, there's no questions, can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the Housing Authority Board of Commissioners minutes of August 24, 2021. Second.
Any further discussion?
I would just like to make note to the tenants that I cannot post the minutes to the meeting until they are approved by the board. I've had a couple people complain that they were not up right away, but we're kind of always a month behind. So I just wanted them to know that.
Okay.
You know that.
Okay.
Well, once we approve them, they should be able to go up this week.
Right, so I can post that today.
Yeah.
But
So
until
there's
it's,
always a 1 month lag because we're
Right.
not approving the
Right.
minutes until the
Right.
next meeting.
Right.
yep,
Is that a key thing though, that people, because people, you can't post minutes, they're just not official. You can put them up right away, but simply they're not official minutes.
well, all right, so
Well, they
that,
still
I guess
have-
it's up to the board
Right,
how
but
they
you
want me
still
to
have
do.
They still have to transcribe all that.
Right, but I'm saying they don't
Okay.
have to be put up until after approval, they can be unofficial minutes. Once you get them ready, I don't know how the board members feel about that. If that's something that we want to see, you can't post them, and they're just not official.
Well, if you do that, you can just put on the top
That's right.
unofficial
Right.
minutes. Or not approved or something.
Yeah, not
You can-
approved minutes. Okay,
can-
but we need a vote on these minutes.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, unanimous. Okay, next on the agenda is public comment. Did anyone sign up for that?
I don't believe so, it's the
Well,
board.
somebody just
Oh,
handed
Karen
us a
did.
paper. Here.
I wanted to say a few things that bothered me, and
Okay, I cannot understand you.
Come
I'd
forward,
just like
maybe?
to say some things that are bothering me.
Excuse me, is there a free mic?
No,
Well, then come up and use one of these mics. If you
No,
want.
that's okay. She can, as long as you talk loud or just come closer so
Yeah, I
that
can
we
get.
can.
Hi, I'm
No,
Karen
fine.
Reed, I live in 22C, I just want to talk about a couple of things that are bothering me, I really don't want to do them. I've been blamed for Carol Roberts' fall, which is so not true, but she walked in this unsturdy little laundry cart and she hit the railing, and had a flat thing, little lawn chair leaning against the railing, flush with the laundry, she fell her back down and her chair is very unsteady, they told her to use it off, and she did it fine. I'm just saying, I don't want to be blamed for that anymore. Cutting the bushes and trees around here is really getting on my nerves. We're not supposed to. I was told not to when I pulled one branch off a tree once I got, remember, I know that, Tammy knows about that. And when I see it, they're cutting the lilac bush, all the bottom of the lilac bush is cut. They leave the branches all on the ground so I can see them and pick them up every day. Yelling vulgarities out loud in the parking lot to me and my boyfriend going to dinner one night, and I really don't want this happening anymore. She called us both very vulgar names. I did say anything back, because I don't want to say anything like that. As far as people grouping outside of my window, talking loud enough for me to hear it when I'm sitting in my living room, please, I hope they can stop that. Beeping horns outside at 8 p.m. last night, 4 times, woke me up. And also people getting, an elderly woman that lives over there, she took some tomatoes and a person that lives here went to her house, physically went in her house yelled at her about this, and she is really upset about that, and that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you.
I just want everyone to get along. I just want peace here, I'm begging for peace, that's what I want. I can't take it.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, so noted, Karen.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, next is the director's report.
All right, maintenance met with Rise Engineer, which is the contractor that put in the heat pumps. So Jim and Dakota and Kevin went around. There's a paper in there that says what from Dakota on what the meeting was. It was last week while I was not here. It says, after reviewing the information that we gave to them, we showed them the crawl spaces and the pumps. They came to the conclusion that they are going to involve the electrical inspector, as there are many different ways to solve the issue. However, they need prior approval from the electrical inspector before they can proceed. They took measurements of the exterior units to properly order baffles, so there are some units that are not blowing into each other. Rise Engineering indicated that they would be replacing the condensation pumps with larger commercial-grade pumps and redirecting some drain lines that currently drain into the pumps. Rise Engineer is planning on paying for all the work to be completed with hopes that this will solve the issues that we're having. So that's a positive on that.
Good.
We did have the hallway project with the asbestos testing. There, it did come up with asbestos in it, so I included the reports on that. I do not know, I don't have anything yet from the architect on the costs or DHCD and what they're going to do on it, so that's kind of on a halt right now. But, you know, again, as long as we don't remove anything, we're fine. It's the removal is when you have to watch things. There is the AUP audit from Lisa Fallon is included in there for you guys to review. There were no findings. There were a couple things, little minute things that she just said, you know, be aware of for next time. But other than that, everything was fine. And then I went to the conference. It was very good. I learned a lot. Sorry you missed it. You'll have to go next year because it was very informative on some things. I did receive my certification from them. There were a lot of new executive directors there, so it was very nice.
Were there any new board members there too?
Yes, there were. There were a lot of new board members, and there were a lot of older board members that were roaming around. So it was a nice mix of people. So it was nice. It was very nice. Learned a lot, which was
A lot of people were going around and doing what?
What do you mean? I went away to the conference, the Masnauer conference, and there were a lot of people there, a lot of new directors, a lot of older directors. I met a lot of people. There were a lot of new board members and a lot of older board members there with a lot of great ideas on different things and how things are run, and I learned a lot.
Well, that's good.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
gonna help us.
Yep. Yep.
Was the governors, were they still there pitching the potential for for the public-private partnership again in order to build more units, or they weren't?
They did touch on that, but it was very briefly, in one of the legislature guys touched on it very briefly in his opening statements, but that's as far as it went.
Okay, it's been on the agenda for a
Yeah.
couple of years.
They did say that the budget guidelines are going to be, are supposed to be released this week, and that 4% is, you know, going to be across the board.
Okay.
And the only other things I have are the policy updates. There is a letter in there from Dakota on why the fertilizers, the water, the wells, and why we need to have stricter policies
Yeah.
on it. Yep.
Yeah, so I read it in detail. I'd just like to say for the record that Dakota did a really good job in writing this up and explaining the issues here. So,
Mhm.
you know, obviously this took a while to write.
Yeah, we did have the one issue up at Hillside the night of the board meeting last month,
Yeah.
where the water tank ran low, because one of the tenants left her hose on,
Yeah.
so.
Can I ask, why the tenants have hoses? If they can't water the lawn, if they can't wash their car, if they can't use water exterior from their house, why do they even have hoses, which could, if the hoses are breaking and
Right.
leaking and they're not even aware of it, why do they even have them if they're not supposed to use them?
I don't know why she had it up there. I don't know what she was doing with it. She never responded to anything on it. So as soon as we have the policy, then we can let them know that it's something that they're not allowed to have. They're not allowed to have pools, even the little ones for the little kids. She doesn't have a lot of flowers, so I'm not quite sure what she was doing with it.
Well, it's not only one there,
He
Dakota
mentions-
mentioned several
Right.
of them that were like, they were leaking or they were spraying,
Well,
Yeah.
the real problem is people just leave them there.
Right.
And think it's not gonna leak instead of turning it off.
Right,
I mean, that's the real problem, and so I agree, since we have a pump house with DEP's control, if we run dry because we're wasting money, I mean, we could be zapped with all of our
Big
extra
time.
repair money just to pay a fine.
I mean, if they hadn't caught if the alarm hadn't gone off and the pump had run low enough, we would have had to get a tanker of water in for them, and it would have been extremely expensive.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so everyone, the point here is that because we have a pump house with our well, we're under DEP regulations. And by people leaving the water running or not turning it on, if we drain out, we run into a whole bunch of DEP issues and requirements that are gonna be very costly to our housing authority. So it's not that we as a committee want you not to use water and water your plants. The problem is, people need to water for 5 minutes and stop if they were doing that. Now, at this point, we're in a
Right.
situation where the only safe thing to do is to restrict or basically control the watering of the yard because we
Right.
can't really afford this.
So I did a water supply, weed killer, insecticide, and fertilizer on one side and the grounds and the flower beds on the other,
Okay,
since we were looking at all of them today.
okay. So, do we want to segue, because these are the things that we delayed for a vote for a month?
Yep.
Ed?
If the spigots are an issue, can't they be shut off down below? Like you shut them off
We
in the
can-
winter time? Why
yep.
can't they be shut off? And obviously, when they were put in, when the place was built, why were the spigots put in there if people can't?
I don't know.
Because in the beginning, I don't think we had a well house pump problem.
Well, we had wells, we didn't have
Yeah.
public
Right.
water, we had wells.
Well,
They weren't
Okay.
controlled by the DEP
they weren't
at that
controlled by the
time,
Right.
DEP yet. They weren't controlled by the
If you
DEP
read
until,
though, in that.
No, but
until like 10 years ago.
Right, I mean,
DEP aside, it's still gonna burn the pumps dry, so
Yeah.
it's still gonna happen. So why, I don't understand how this evolved into such an issue, really. Think about it.
I mean, we do go down and shut them off from the inside for the winter. We can just continue to keep them off.
Why don't you just keep them off, period?
Okay.
Take a watering thing in your house and bring your water out.
I'm on the second floor. and I
Well-
have that.
We can't have people running out of water either and getting fined by the
Filling my water can outside and watering.
Yeah, what's wrong
That's
with
the
that?
spigot, on in the nice weather. We can use it, come to take their house, and I don't care, I do my watering. We build it out outside.
And some people, I'm sorry. What is, I was just gonna say, some people are not capable of going up their stairs, and filling a bucket of water to walk down from the second floor. Some people are not capable. So what's the problem? I don't know, is there a problem with filling, the can of water outside with the hose?
The problem is that,
Maybe I'm not hearing right, I don't hear that good anyway.
the problem is that the recovery rate of using the water is very low. The pump pumps it in at a low rate, so if everybody's running the water, we can
Okay,
easily,
of the well.
of the well. So
Okay.
that's the problem. So with people running everything, so it's not that, certainly personally, it's not that I want to restrict that.
Right.
It's that this has become a problem. This has
Right.
become an issue because people are not diligent in just watering and then turning it off. And so we have to worry about the pump's recovery. If we run it dry, we have to bring a truck in for all of you guys to get water, so we won't have a well for a while.
A quick question, Tammy, do we have gutters on our building?
Yes.
You know, it's.
I would really suggest environmentally sound, we would know that we purchase some rain barrels. In each building, put the gutter, have rainwater, go into these big buckets, and now people can use that for watering.
Okay.
It's environmentally sound, it's reusing water, and it's not getting into the well. You're gonna get a lot of water that will overflow those in no time.
In theory, that works, Jim, but
Yeah, because of mosquitoes.
yeah, then you got, well, not only that, then you have the aesthetics of it.
I don't know where the gutters are, but you can put it, they look, a nice bucket, covered and so on.
Yeah.
There's drains on them, you know? It's a well use of a lot of water that
Right.
you don't have to take out of the ground.
Right.
We're using water.
And I get what you're saying, I really do. But this whole policy, I can almost guarantee you that next spring, this place is gonna look like hell. If certain, I'd say certain, how do I wanna put it? There's gotta be a give and take. It can't just all be, becomes Granby Housing Authority's property. And restricting the watering, I get it. I get all of it. But I also understand that people are just gonna say, I'm done with it.
Yeah, it's a fine line.
It's a real fine line with this particular policy.
Sir?
Well, it's good to have-
No, I understand it now.
Can I help you? Sir, can I help you?
I've got probably about 15 puppies.
Well, what are you telling us you want us to do? Not water our flowers or water them? Because I water from 44 over to 46, but I plant that.
And how long, when you water all those, how long are you running the water to water them?
Not more than 5 minutes.
And are you shutting the water off at the building?
You're done.
When you're done, you have
I shut
to,
it off at the hole.
Yeah, well, that's
Turn it
the,
off at the hose.
that
You're
is
turning
the
spigot.
issue.
No, you're turning the spigot off.
No, she's not.
I turn it on when I start to water,
She's turning
and I
the
turn
spigot,
it off
right.
as soon as I finish.
The end of the hose.
No, she's saying the spigot, not the end of the hose.
I have a hose.
I get it. Our question to you is, are you turning the spigot on or off?
What's the spigot?
The spigot is like the little.
The one that comes out of the
Well,
building.
The faucet.
I
faucet.
turn it on when I
Okay.
start and I turn it off when I finish. And it's no more than 5 minutes. Because I do all her, in front of her house, in front of Thelma's and mine.
We've got it all organized in time yourself,
Right.
yeah.
And I wait until it's really, really
Yeah.
dry before I do water.
Are
I
you
don't,
on the second floor?
Yes.
Okay. Well, and then like when Karen was speaking, I'm thinking, all right, what's the difference? Okay, fill up a couple of things, you know, and leave them there for the next morning or something. Another way to, you know, but who wants to fill up all these buckets? Well, sometimes you have to, because in our building, I see that, you know, there's a couple people that do that. They don't have the hose out, you know, just like, you know, singing in the rain. You know, they they do it and they're done, but some people are, younger and faster, and very well.
Is this
she's
under
young
public
too,
comment?
she's fast.
Well, I mean, I like the flowers and most of them are from my old house.
They're beautiful.
This place is really beautiful. If you drive in here and you look at everything, everybody is involved. Everybody here is keeping this place gorgeous. I've been around to lots of places, no place is as gorgeous as this. With the flowers, so they need water. We need to find a way where we can do something about this, but not stop water.
I'll tell you, those flowers
Beautiful.
are very, very effective for the elderly, the younger, the
Yeah.
whatever, any
Yeah.
people that come in here, friends, family, they go, oh my God.
Joe, is this part of public comment?
That cheered me up.
Because it's an
That
issue,
is
I'm just
not-
letting,
that's
I'm
not
letting it
fresh
go,
out water.
okay? It's not,
You're not telling us to stop the watering. We might.
You're telling
I know
us
they
to
are.
control our
I know
water.
they are.
Will you be quiet a minute and let me finish? Just be quiet a minute.
okay,
They're
guys,
just telling us to control our watering. This is what they're saying.
Right,
Done deal.
yeah.
okay, here's what, okay, excuse me, since we don't have public comment, we need to sort of cut that off, but I don't think we should pass a policy or anything right now, but I think what the tenants, and maybe you can work with them, is let's develop a policy and a strategy so that we conserve the water and this isn't an issue. And maybe we come up with things like, you know, when I used to live in California, well, you can only use so much, you can only water at this hour, like at sunset or certain times of the day. So the goal will be for you to sort of lead this thing, talk to the tenants, work with the tenants, let's come up with a strategy so that we don't have to give up watering the plants. But if this is a problem, we're gonna have to give it up because of the DEP requirements and because of, you know, the issue of running out of water and the high cost of what we would go through. Okay, I'll let you ask one question, go ahead, or one comment.
Well, some people water twice a day. It's not necessary.
Right, well, that's the goal. The goal is,
They can water once a day.
you're gonna work with Dawn,
Yeah. water
everybody
once a
with
day.
the watering
There'll be a
group.
water
You're gonna
tank.
work with Dawn, we're gonna come up with a policy. I mean, at this time of the
It'll be
year,
up to
we
Donna
shouldn't
set
really,
that regulation, you can only water once a day. That'll help the pump.
okay. That'll be up to Dawn.
Okay.
And that'll be up to everybody, give the feedback. Dawn will
Some
help
people
develop
water
a
crazy.
policy.
I'll look at rain gutters.
That we'll try to
rain barrels.
implement, because the problem is not gonna be the rest of this year, because.
It's gonna be next
pretty
year.
much, and then we'll see,
Sometimes it's every other day, it depends.
and then we'll see how it goes in the spring, and if it's still a
Joe,
problem.
you're losing control.
Just calm down for a second. Ma'am, you're not allowed to speak, please.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay? Okay. All I'm saying is communicate to Dawn. We're gonna develop a policy. We don't have to address this issue really until next spring. So if we can have a good policy, everybody will follow certain hour requirements, certain amount of time and everything else. And if we have a violator, maybe as part of the policy, we come up with a fat fine. We have the right to fine, right? Okay, so if somebody's violating or whatever, you're gonna be fined. It's gonna cost you money because you're not doing what you need to do. So, anyway, that'll be up to Dawn to basically develop that. Okay,
And I have a question, Joe?
Yeah,
When
go
do you
ahead.
want the results by?
oh no, before the spring.
Before the spring?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, no, I mean, I can't imagine that we have a watering problem at this time of the year, do we?
Watering, no, just when the hoses are left on, and the hose was left on up there, not down here.
Okay.
So,
Okay, and then
I'm
the other
gonna
thing we need
shut
to
off
do is
it up
we
there.
need to, we can shut that, at this time of the year, we can just shut
Yep.
that off.
Yep,
So it's not a problem,
yep,
okay? Is that okay with you, Jim?
So, and the tenant up there was addressed on this,
yes.
Okay,
that's fine.
okay.
And
Gloria, are you okay with that?
Yes.
Okay.
the grounds and flower beds.
Yeah, so are we going to vote?
We're not voting on it. I think we should table this whole mess until we get a policy about the water, and all this ties in with watering and fertilizing and maintenance of flower beds, et cetera. So if we're gonna table part
Okay.
of it, then we should table all of it till the spring.
Okay, but let's make sure that it's on the agenda for March of next year. Okay? We want to vote on a policy in March.
I would say before March, maybe
February.
Maybe February,
Yeah.
okay, move it up to February.
Put on the agenda, so we can talk about it and vote on
Yeah.
something in February.
At that time, Don will have a,
I'll have something
And
at
he'll
that
have
time.
something, and then everybody can be educated, and if we do it right, then everybody can water, and we won't have any issues. Okay.
Financials?
No, we're not, no, we're gonna deal with that next. Okay.
You see the bird feeders and the animals, is that here?
Yep, it's on the other side of the water.
Oh, so we do need to,
Well, we
See,
just,
I only see.
well, that's water supply,
Well, let's see that.
weed kill.
Feeding
I don't
animals.
see anything about animals
on the
here.
other side, ground flowers and around the buildings.
Okay,
That's not concerning the animals.
but that's not concerning the
Bird
bird.
feeders and stuff.
The bird feeder one, I did not make a
didn't
copy of
deal
it for
with.
this year. We did, oh, hang on, and I'll grab it.
Joe, if they make a comment, we are not allowed, we do not respond to that comment. We tell them to go to Tammy and talk to her and go do that, right?
Yeah, but in this case, right,
She's talking about the first lady that stood up wants to have a comment on her.
no, public comment's over.
We
Yeah, no, we don't have to respond to
We
that.
don't
just allow
respond, we
her.
just listen.
We listened, and that's what we did, there's no response, okay? So, if you guys haven't, I encourage you to read Dakota's
I read it.
memo.
I wonder why it came from him and not the director
Why is
of,
he doing it and not the maintenance?
yeah, the supervisor of
Well,
the,
it's well written, I mean,
it
I
can
don't
be
have,
read. The thing is, he is not the director of maintenance.
well, I know,
And that's
but,
where
I
it
know,
should-
but maybe he's not as good a writer.
What?
Maybe he's not.
That's not the
The
point.
director of maintenance doesn't want to be involved in any of that.
Okay.
So the only thing I did on the feeding of the animals was that I changed it to bird feeders can go out for winter months. However, at the first sighting of a bear or problem with other wildlife, a notice will be sent out to have them removed.
So when can we put them out?
Well, what's the
I
winter
know
month?
when, because the ground's gotta be frozen. But I don't know if everybody else knows that.
That's what the board had asked me to change it to last month.
Yep.
So I did.
Okay, so what is the month that starts with, what is our winter month that starts? November 1st?
No, the end of November.
The end of November, December 1st?
Well, the first day of winter, whatever
No, well,
that
that's
is.
December 20th, that's the year frozen by
Right.
then. You don't need to go that way, so. Okay,
Well, you should have a date because people are gonna
Yeah.
wanna have the date.
so the winter months are what?
Why don't we say November 1st
November 1st to,
to March 1st or March 30th,
well, April 1st,
April 1st?
okay?
I think we should put a date because it's too ambiguous this way.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, November 1 to April 1,
Okay?
Okay.
okay?
I think November 1 is a little early.
You think so? November 15th?
I would say December 1st. That's what
Okay,
I had it
okay.
at last time.
Well, I said that and somebody said the ground will be frozen.
Yeah, well, I did.
I know, that's why I
If you
said.
put anything in the ground, you should already have it in the ground.
You know, this is so petty, all this pettiness. We're getting to the too nitty gritty about all
Well,
this.
remember, why are we doing this for the safety of the tenants? Because bears
Oh,
have become
I-
a bigger problem.
However,
We
it's
wouldn't
got
be dealing with this if it wasn't.
It's coming down to where
policies-
you can't even, you have to ask permission to plant a flower or a tomato or a bird feeder. It's just getting so to fine tuning of people's lives, that's all I'm trying to say, you know. We're just a committee here to monitor what's going on with the council director. That's all our committee is supposed to do.
In response,
Policy.
I did ask Joe to speak. In response to that, some of these things are in response to tenant grievances, tenant arguments that have cropped up unfortunately, during Tammy's administration. And we have to deal with it. We have to have these policies. Unfortunately, I don't like it. I have a vested interest. I have a garden full of plants. I don't like having to discuss this, but we have to. As a board, this comes under keeping it.
Our board is responsible only to deal with Tammy and her position here.
And policies and procedures. Policies and
We set
procedures.
policy.
All right?
Okay, we got two
Well, okay,
things,
but
Tammy
set,
and policy.
we can set a policy, but we can't set a policy for every single individual thing that's happening. We have to have a basic policy and then go from there.
Gloria, these policies are policies that have been in effect since 2001, 2008, 2011.
We're updating.
DHCD now requires, with part of the annual plan, that all policies are added into it and they're updated by the board. That's why I've started this, because I have to,
Okay?
so when I submit my annual plan, I have to have when they were last updated. And they're not going to accept something that was updated more than 10 years ago.
Fine.
Sometimes it helps to look at it instead of a policy, it's more of a procedure, so it gives some direction, so everybody knows, you're not treating anybody differently. This is the procedure we follow. Procedure is almost a better word than policy. Policy is almost like a law,
Right.
Procedure is just sort of the routines you follow here that everyone gets used to. I like the term procedure better, but it does help give direction to the executive director so she or he is just not willy-nilly about things. It gives her some direction and gives the tenant some direction. Procedurally, this is what we need to do.
And the goal is to keep any restrictions very narrow. You don't make them broad restrictions. Very narrow, specific restrictions if we need that, so that we get the response that the unit, that the facility basically needs, so. Okay. So, what do we want to do on the feeding of birds? Are we going to vote on this today?
I think we need to,
Okay.
especially with whether it's November 1st or April
Or
1st
December
or December 1st, just so it's what it is. And people are going to want to do that coming up, so.
Okay, so do we want to just inject in this winter months, put in parentheses December 1st to April 1st, and then
That would help.
and then be done?
Yep,
And then we wouldn't have to rewrite anything else,
right.
Okay.
okay? So I'm gonna need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve with the add-in winter months of December 1st to April 1st. The feeding of animal procedure policy we have in front of us. The
And I
one
need-
that Tammy read.
Okay.
Second?
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? You abstain?
No, that's fine.
Okay. Okay. Unanimous then. Okay, so the date will be December 1st to April 1st for the bird feeders. Unless, but if for some reason a bear appears, we gotta take them down after that.
And she would tell me that.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
I will.
Okay, and she'll let you know, but I'm just telling all of you that have bird feeders that you're here that, that's how it has to work, because safety comes
That's
first. Okay. Okay, do you wanna, oh, we already talked about that.
Joe, you got a hand up.
Yeah, I wanted to ask,
And
is there some, rule of how far the anywhere?
No.
No. Okay. Anyway, okay. Somebody I thought said to me something about you had to have a bird feeder near the premises, you know, the building.
You can't attach a bird feeder to the outside of your windows because you're not allowed to attach anything to the building.
So it just can't be.
Oh, okay, then that must have been somebody bringing up, those, you know, those little birds there. Some people put, attach the water and sugar for them. Okay,
Those are hummingbirds, and
Right,
those are
that's it.
just in the summer.
Yeah.
Those are just in the summer.
yeah,
Okay.
oh, right.
Look at,
So
you know,
financials?
Hey, just, okay. We've got to move on, guys.
Yeah.
You guys can have a conversation after the meeting, but we have to keep control here. Okay, anything else? We're going to move on to the financial report.
Nope.
Okay, so the one vacant unit, when do you think we'll get that rented?
So 44A has been rented,
Okay.
and 36A, I believe, is the current empty one, and I'm almost done with the process of renting that one out.
can I ask
ahead.
on this director's report that,
Mhm.
have we discussed this at all yet?
The director's report? Yes, we could go through the director's report.
Okay, I wanted to ask, how far does a tenant have to be in arrears before you take action? How many months?
How many months?
Yeah.
If they're a month behind, then I call them and talk to them. One tenant is in a repayment plan. The second tenant has extenuating circumstances. She was waiting for an ID. The bank, what she's telling me, she was waiting for an ID. She got the ID, and then she got COVID. So she's supposed to be in this week to catch up. But once they're 1 month behind, I call them and see what's going on, and go from there.
Okay, I just wondered because if they get so far behind, it's
Right.
very hard
To catch up.
to catch up, so, you know.
Yep.
And the one who had COVID and she doesn't know that she could put a check in the mail and mail it?
She does not have checks. She pays by money. Most of the tenants up at Hillside pay by money order.
So they can't send a money order?
So she can't get anywhere to get a money order. She can't get I said, well, you could go to an ATM and get the money out of an ATM. Just, wear a glove. So,
Okay,
you know what,
well, that's-
but she, that's when she said she didn't have her IDs and she didn't get yada, yada, yada. So, we're working on
Okay,
it.
all right. That's all. I just wondered how far before
Nope.
you were in touch with them. We did we not pass a policy to have a charge if they were so late?
We have a policy, it's a $25 late
Yep.
fee, which we have.
Are
We
you
had in place
implementing
for
that?
them.
Yep.
Yes, okay.
Okay. Okay, so on the treasurer's report, I need a motion to approve. No. This is the only page we have to approve.
Okay.
This is our background, this is the accounting report, so you'll see, and you always want to pay attention to the annual.
Okay. Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the Housing Authority Treasurer's Report dated August 31st, 2021.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
All right.
All right.
Unanimous. Okay, and now let's look at the warrant report for the bills. So I did have one question.
Yep.
And that was, on the solar operating costs, are we paying that monthly or quarterly? Does that?
That's a monthly.
That's a monthly thing
Mhm.
now? Okay. And the audit that Lisa Fallon did, is that an annual audit we have to do?
Yes.
Okay.
And the performance maintenance review is in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Tammy, just a question I've asked before, I just,
Mhm.
because of this being like that, on the $900 for materials and supplies for Sherwin-Williams, what?
That's paint for the apartments.
No, but that's- How much paint, don't we,
Paint is
has gone
expensive
through
right
the
now.
I
ceiling.
know, but don't we have extra paint? Don't we have extra paint, because paint, they're not custom colors, they're the same color.
No, it's the same color in each one. But you
All
can't,
this stuff,
you-
rollers and brushes and so on, why do we keep
well,
buying and buying? What, is it disappearing, where's it going?
so the paint, they get them in 1-gallon buckets. It's the same as getting it as a 5-gallon bucket, but because it's sitting, it doesn't go bad. I'm right on, the rollers and the brushes, they buy them in bulk. But he doesn't paint every day, so you have it and then it gets hard and he, gets another one.
That's a shame. The paint should be used and reused, it's on clean
Okay,
properly.
I'll-
I just don't.
I'll
I
talk
just-
to him.
and it's not our money and so on, but it's like, holy mackerel. Another question asked before, but I know paint's expensive, but I'm sure they're getting discounts on it as it is.
Sherwin-Williams, actually, we just stopped using it because they added a 4% surcharge because they're having trouble getting supplies and their costs have gone up.
Everybody's doing that now.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Where are you getting the paint now? If you're not gonna use it?
We've gone to either Ace Hardware or Home Depot. We're kind of
Yeah,
price comparison.
right.
Okay, if there's no questions, then I need a motion to approve the warrant report.
Make a motion to approve the warrant report.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Gloria?
Aye, yes.
Okay. Okay, is there anything else we need to discuss?
I wondered how the temporary groundskeeper is working out. I hadn't been here for a while.
It worked out okay. The grounds looked nice. We were able to on average, he worked about 15, anywhere between 12 and 15 hours a week. And, it was nice. They were able to keep up with the weed whacking and the mowing up there and down here to make sure everything looked nice.
Is he done now?
We're winding down. I kind of told them today that, within the next couple weeks, just had to look and see how things were going. Dakota's on vacation for the next 2 weeks, and then I believe Jim's going on vacation. The leaves are going to be falling, so it's kind of playing it by ear right now.
Yep. Okay.
I have a question.
No, we're
No,
not taking
We're
questions.
going to adjourn the meeting. You can ask after. Oh,
I'm sorry.
okay.
I haven't been to very many meetings.
Okay. Just as a reminder, if you want to say something or anything that's on the list, you do that in the public comment section so that we can sort of stay focused on our business. So just for the future. Okay, so I need,
Aren't the tenants supposed to write down their concern and give it to Tammy, and then Tammy gives it to us?
yeah,
Isn't that
well,
the
we have a
procedure?
list for them to speak.
And then, yes, but I didn't get we didn't get all this, we didn't get a written thing like this.
Doesn't have to be written.
It doesn't have to
Okay,
be written out like
okay.
that.
Okay,
It's just that they sign up to speak.
we didn't discuss this thing either.
She read that.
That,
No, this is from,
No,
from somebody else.
She did not read it.
Oh, right. Well,
may I speak? I think
well, we
that'll-
don't want to do that on this.
No, I understand.
Once we get the policy that I'm gonna be working on in place, that's gonna go away. Because that's basically what that letter's dealing with.
Okay,
Okay, so it's, in other words, Lord, it's gonna be addressed.
okay, I
Okay.
just. And I would like to make one comment, or I would like to say something to everybody. I'm just gonna remove this a little bit so you can hear it, because I find it very difficult to hear what's being said on the TV because of the masks. But anyway, recently, I lost my husband, and I want to thank everybody for all your nice concerns, prayers, and thoughts for me and for him. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, then I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.